The open beta is now live for Skull and Bones, and I got to get my hands on it, played it for about 6 or 7 hours yesterday, and I have some thoughts. Just wanting to go over the things that I liked, maybe not so much, some issues that I had, and give you a really quick idea of what the early game for Skull and Bones will look like. And make sure you stick to the end of the video, as we're going to be doing a second entry into my Skull and Bones Premium Edition giveaway. Details on how you can enter later in today's video. So if you guys do enjoy, feel free to click the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. We'll be coming out with some more Skull and Bones content over the next few weeks, so make sure you stay up to date with that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the open beta for Skull and Bones. Before we begin, I do want to give a huge thank you to Ubisoft for providing me exclusive access to a special Twitch drop, as well as providing us with the 2 keys for our giveaway for later in the video. However, I have full reign to give my full opinion about the open beta and the full product of Skull and Bones. So while they did graciously give me a few keys to give away and some Twitch drops for you guys, they did give me full permission to talk about the game how I see fit. So with that out of the way, let's go. Now, when you first hop in, you get kind of into this prologue sequence where essentially you're this big ship and there's a ton of ships coming after you. And I gotta say, for like an opening to a pirate game, was actually really cool. And it really just kind of sets the stage of what you'll be seeing later on in the game. Now, during this open beta, you're pretty much gonna get full access to the game up until a certain point. So we really get to see the full experience of the early game inside of Skull and Bones. And I gotta say, when you first start out, it was a little rough. For me, when I was starting out, I just felt like there was a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff being thrown at you. And for me, who has never played the game before, it was a lot to kind of take in really quickly. And I may have missed some tutorials early on, but I just felt like there were certain mechanics in the game that I just had no clue about or really didn't fully grasp yet until I really started playing the game more, which might be by design, but for me, it was a little tough getting out of the gate. Now, where this game shines the most is definitely in its naval combat. And the one thing I actually really enjoyed, especially early on, was the wide variety of cannons I got to use. From things like the long guns to the demi cannons that all have a certain purpose. The demi cannon being like the shotgun of cannons, the long gun for more longer range, more precision shots. It allowed me to kind of customize my ship in such a way so that way at each side of my ship is used for a different strategy and utility. And kind of rolling over with the ship, the customization was really cool. And at least during the open beta, there wasn't anything that I could see immediately that's going to cost with cosmetics. Obviously, I do know there is going to be a battle pass and maybe cosmetics coming later. However, I did enjoy that the customization that they did have, and I'm sure it's only going to expand once we get deeper and deeper into the game. Now, early on, the only things I really got to experience was, the main story quest, the job board, and then some side quests. Now, early on, there were only really a few different mission types, and I don't know yet if it's going to expand further from that once we get deeper into the game. But to start, it was a lot of delivering an item or taking out a ship, then delivering something back. It was a lot of fetch quests. If you've played things like World of Warcraft, you'll be familiar with fetch quests, going somewhere, getting something, then coming back. Like I said, I've only played about 6-7 hours, and I've gotten pretty decent into the story campaign, so that might change later on once we get into the full game. But as of right now, early on, there is a lot of fetch quests and is a lot of just kind of getting used to playing the game. One thing they brushed over that I didn't see right away was actually the fast travel system and how detrimental that was to my gaming experience. Because the one thing that I instantly really got bored of was when I was just kind of like going back and forth with the ship, and like especially if there's headwind coming straight at you, like you start going really slow, and that 3,000 meters takes forever. So the one thing that is nice is each of the areas that you can get off your ship, every time you get off it, it becomes a fast travel area. So as long as you're docked at another port, you can then fast travel to those areas. So that saved me so much time, and honestly, it made my experience 10 times better because I didn't feel like I was just kind of sailing around to all these places. And while that is kind of the pirate way, it does get a little boring after a while, considering as I get higher and higher level, the enemies around me aren't providing as good of rewards, and they're a lot easier to take out, so it just felt kind of nonsensical, if you will, to just kind of like go back and forth to the same area multiple times. So being able to go to different ports, getting those fast travel opportunities actually made my experience a lot better. Now, if you are playing the open beta, you will see some kind of server issues here and there. I don't know if that's going to be something hopefully they take care of for the full release. I do want to mention that I did have some server issues here and there, especially right when we got into the game, which is kind of expected now with AAA games Early on, servers might be an issue. I had a hard time getting in. But later on, when I was playing by myself, I was running into a lot of hitches. I got disconnected a few times. And straight up the game just kind of booted me a couple times. So while that was an issue, it didn't particularly kill the immersion for me, because I do know this is an open beta, and that's what this is for, is to make sure that they can perfect and handle all the server load. And I'm assuming over the next couple days that'll kind of even out once the weekend ends. But if you do hop into the open beta, I do want to let you know that there have been some server issues. They may be fixed by the time this video is over. They could still have some issues, so just be wary about that. Now, when it comes to the story, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I want to like it because it's pirates and it's, you know, swashbuckling, you're going, taking out people. It is very uninspiring. Then again, this is kind of a live service game, so I don't necessarily think the story is going to be on everyone's front of mind. But for me, like especially with Destiny, I'm a big on lore, and there is going to be some lore here, and there are some funny moments. Some of the people you meet are very funny, and when you go into certain areas, especially St. Anne, when you walk around, depending on the missions you completed, the people or pirates around you sitting, they will make comments depending if you died or if you didn't, or if you're just new, they'll talk to you. They will, you know, cheer you on if you do something good. So that the ambiance is really good, but when it comes to like the lore of at least the main story, there wasn't a lot there. And now it could get better as the story goes on, as we kind of get more into the deeper parts of the story, especially when we get closer to the end game. It may get better, but early on, I won't lie, I was kind of uninterested. I really wasn't like sitting there like, oh wow, this is actually really good. I feel I want to go after the French, or I want to go after Farah Clan. I want to do this. It was just kind of, okay, let's get this going so that way I can keep leveling up. Now, before I finish up my first impressions, I did want to talk about our giveaway. So of course, thank you again to Ubisoft for providing me the 2 codes to the premium edition to give away to you guys. So how you guys enter, it's going to be similar to my previous video if you've done this before. Make sure you like this video and you are subscribed. And I want you to use the secret code for this video is going to be BLACKBEARD. So in this video, go ahead and comment down below. And anyway, some of the comments I saw were absolutely hilarious. If you guys implementing pirate into a sentence, it was absolutely great. But the secret word for this video is going to be BLACKBEARD. This will get you a second entry inside of my giveaway. So make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and comment the code word BLACKBEARD for a second entry inside of our giveaway. But overall, my first impressions, I feel like it's still very early. I don't want to, you know, say the game is good, the game is bad. It's still very early on. I had a lot of fun once I learned the game's mechanics, and especially once I learned fast travel, it made my experience 10 times better. So make sure you guys get those fast travel points, because when you guys are just sailing around nonsensically, it can get kind of boring at times. But overall, I'm excited to hop back into Skull and Bones and give it another try. We still got a few days left of the open beta before the game fully launches. Make sure you guys hop in for free using your Ubisoft Connect, Epic Game Store, Xbox Series S, or PS5. Hop in for free today and give it yourself a try. Figure out if you guys want to buy the game yourself. I appreciate you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys again in another video. Peace.